Hello, everyone, and happy Friday. This is the You Can Make a Difference show, and I am your host, McGregor. On the You Can Make a Difference show, what we do is we shine a spotlight on folks that are doing positive things to make a difference in our communities and in our world. And I want to just give a shout out. I do this every now and then as a reminder to thank Melissa Etheridge for the permission she gave me to use that song of hers, Giant. I used it in my campaign when I ran for city council in 2017 with her permission, and I'm using it here. And it's a reminder that you are a giant, you know, that our voice matters. And if it didn't matter, they wouldn't be trying so darn hard to silence us. So remember that. We're stronger than we realize many times. You know, I have a wonderful guest on the show today that I am just blessed and privileged to call a friend. And she is a musical genius. Jen Ayers is a local, lives in South Seattle, pianist, songwriter, playwright, and recording artist. She and her guitar partner, Graham, formed a Seattle indie all-rock band called Honey Tongue that played shows all across the U.S., releasing 3 albums. And they started with Tom Petty and Jack Johnson. She's a powerhouse. She's a tiny little thing with a powerful voice and powerful talent. She has sang the national anthem at NBA and MLB games. She's performed with REM, Heart, Pearl Jam, and recently Dave Matthews. And also at our local, the many of us love, Teatro Zanzani. So please welcome to the show, Jen Ayers.
Hi, Mac. Thanks for having me.
All right. Hi, Jen.
Hi.
Yeah. Good to
going,
see you.
Mac? Good to see you.
It's going good. You know, music is one of those things that I've had the privilege of traveling the world, and it's one of those things that reaches into people's hearts, even when there's a language difference, right? Music is an international language that we can all gather around and feel connected with. And you do that so well. Tell us a little story about how you started out as a kid with music. What was your journey like?
Well, one of my earliest memories is roller skating up and down the sidewalk in front of my house when I was probably 5, singing. I sang all the time. I sang in class, got in trouble in class. I just sang all the time. So I loved music. My mom played a lot of music, and my grandmother and my aunts and my mom all played the piano. So my mom got a used piano, and when I was maybe 4 or 5, I was obsessed with Hello Dolly, and I woke up one morning and started plunking out the melody on the piano. And so my mom signed me up for lessons, and then that began my love affair with the piano. So, you know, the singing and the piano, which are still a big part of my life today. So
yes. Yeah. And in fact, so I'm just picturing you as this adorable little kid, you know, on the piano. I did the same. My grandparents helped raise me, and my grandmother and her best friend, who I called aunt, they used to garage sale together all the time, and they bought an old piano and they antiqued it, refurbished it a bit, and I learned on that. And I started about the same age, plunking around on that.
Yeah, it's really great. I think, you know, music, well, there you go. I mean, that music can really impact and affect even just little ones. Right. Yeah, and it is a different kind of language.
Mm-hmm. It sure is. Yeah. In fact, so I'm picturing you from the little kid. Now, Daniel, let's show that clip of Jack Slow and Slow, a little bit of Jen performing. So you can see.
Not as
Yay. So much fun. Yeah. You know, how much fun is that just to be in the energy of the audience? I know as a speaker and performer, I have feed off of that. Tell me how you experience that.
Oh, that's one of the best parts about music and the performance of music is helping to channel energy and feel energy, give energy to the audience, get energy back, and then learn how to kind of play with that energy, build that energy. I mean, it's a big responsibility performing on a stage. And if you have a goal of connecting with an audience with what you're creating, it's the best.
That's so true, and in times like these, and in times like these when, it's stressful. I mean, let's just say a lot of people are stressed. A lot of people there's a lot of uncertainty about the future and about, what's going to happen in our country right now. Right. And music is one of those things, the old saying, it soothes the savage soul. There's something about music that not only brings us all together, but also, calms us and settles us and brings a peace. Yeah.
Yep.
And that is powerful.
Yep. It's really powerful. Yeah. And I think that I function a lot on heart energy. So, and try to function from that place as much as possible. So even when we're in stressful times where we don't feel like we have, control's a thing we never have, but various times we feel like we might have a little more of it than others. This is not one of those times that the power of bringing everyone together in a room, let's say, who's listening to music, to all connect into that heart-centric place, that's really powerful. Definitely. That's what I'm trying to function when I'm performing these days, and also just in daily life. Right. Leading with love and leading with that heart,
That's right. Yeah, and it gives us a place to escape a little bit from the realities of the stress of the world, right? But escape in a healthy way. It's not like escaping into, binge drinking or things like that, right?
Or completely tuning out.
Right.
Because it's like, how do we find the balance of staying engaged and and doing things and taking action steps, but also caring for ourselves?
That's right.
That's tricky to do.
It sure is. Yes. Yeah. So you are also an amazing songwriter. When did you start writing and what inspired you?
Well, I was classically trained on the piano. So the first songs that I wrote were, I think I was 8. And I wrote a little song on the piano that was, a little Alberti bass and off of C scale. And it was very simple, but it had these melody lines and an Alberti bass and then chords. And it was rhythmic. And that was the first. That was the first one. And I don't, yeah. And I joke that I had to kind of unlearn some of my classical training in my later teen years when I wanted to really venture more into writing music, recording, maybe more in like a indie rock or pop vein or an improvisational vein. Like I didn't think I could improvise. I could read music, but I had this structure that I liked living in, but it wasn't enough. And I kind of had to unlearn some of that and then learn these new skills. So like since I was about 20 or so, I've been approaching my instrument much differently, than I did learning my instrument. And singing was like choir. I did choir and I played Shirley Temple in some little thing when I was 10 and all these. It's really pretty funny that I'm still doing that, dressing up in funny costumes at the circus, and it's not surprising. But
I love that. I mean, it keeps you young, right?
it does.
Yes.
The career in the arts definitely keeps you young and scrappy.
Yes, that's right.
So when that reality sets in that you have no control over anything, but you know how to hustle and you know how to be scrappy, you can really kind of get through anything.
Yeah. And, I totally can relate to what you were saying about having to, because the same thing happened to me in the martial arts. You get that classical training, you get that, and then you get to a level where you have to be able to let that go and really flow with whatever's happening, right? Because
Yeah.
in that so structured environment, there's not a lot of free flow, right? So,
That's right.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. And I mean, I always had that. I did have a gift of being very emotional when I would play and very in touch with emotions. And I think I loved Chopin and I loved Debussy because it was very emotive music. And
Oh, yeah.
I could really that's how I expressed myself, was through how I played it. Right.
Mm.
And like my very first piano recital, this little boy got up and played my song before me. And I panicked. I completely panicked. And then I went up there to play my song and I made all these mistakes and I was devastated. And my teacher was so great. Afterwards, we're debriefing and she's like, you were great. Here's the thing. That boy played the piece technically perfect, but you played it with soul.
Yeah. That's right. The place it comes from within us, right? It actually, you can feel the emotion in the song or in whatever you're performing, for sure. Yeah. And now,
Good therapy.
oh, it's totally good therapy. Yes, yes, and cheaper than a formal therapist. Yes. Yeah, I've done many of those therapy sessions sitting around a campfire with someone with a guitar, and yeah, we're all yeah, it's great. And now you actually teach piano and voice as well locally.
I do.
So yeah,
I
I'm
do.
sure we have folks listening that would be interested in that. How long have you been teaching?
Oh boy.
I mean, you're only 29, right? So it's
I'm only 29, so how could I be teaching for 25 years?
right.
Yeah, a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a great it's great. It's great to be able to, I mean, I teach private lessons out of my home studio, so it's awesome. And it gives me flexibility when I am doing long performance or touring, or, it's been a really nice thing to be able to do and pass on that love of music to students and hopefully inspire them and help them overcome their own vulnerabilities and fears and things to
Right.
find their best voice and figure out what they want to do with their instrument and and bring some joy. Because I mean, I have a lot of students, especially right now, they come and they're like deer in headlights, and we're both deer in headlights, and we're like, we get to make music now. Isn't that great?
Right. Yes. Yeah, totally. Yeah, it is its own therapy, no doubt. And now you have added being a playwright to your resume. Your resume. I look at your resume. People, people always say it when they look at mine. They're like, "Oh my God, how have you done so much in it?" And you're the same way. You have so much. You just read it. There's so much. Yeah. And that's wonderful because we just love to learn and experience people like us. So that's the thing, right?
Yes, because you got to keep doing things that scare you, right? That it give you that little bit of
that's
because
right.
then, I mean, that's the whole point of living, I think, is having as many of those experiences that kind of maybe at first scare the shit out of you.
Right.
And then it's just brilliant.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And the learning along the way that you do, when you're willing to put yourself on the line like that and step out, right? It's just amazing.
It is.
Yeah. So you have a personal story that inspired you to write She Said. Tell us a little bit of the background of that.
Sure. In 2012, my partner, Graham, we were married for a long time. Like we were together. We met when we were 18. So we, we were each other's person for over 20 years and married and had a little boy. And Graham came to the realization that they were transgender. And it was a big realization, a big change, a big potential change in life. And I think in any partnership, the ones that last are the ones that can roll with changes, because individuals are going to change no matter what.
Of course.
At the time, neither one of us knew a whole lot about what that meant really, or how that might affect each of us as individuals and as a couple, as parents, as children, as whatever.
Right.
And so I've always used my songwriting. I mean, the songs that really have come really quick to me, like they just seem to come out of the sky from something, and you write them in like 4 minutes, have often come during really challenging moments, whether they're happening moments of times that are happening to me personally or happening in the world. Like, for example, a song that I wrote when the Columbine shootings happened, and which was one of the first school shootings that happened in Colorado a long time ago. And I wrote this song, and like it wrote itself basically in like 5 minutes. And so I think it's funny, it kind of goes back to that whole kind of emotional place of the connection to music. And I often use songwriting as a way to process big things. And so that's what I did. I started just sitting at the piano and processing. And so that became some songs, which then became some storytelling. And with the help of some great people around me at the time, Waxy Moon, who was in the first run show, Daryl Connors. Daryl Connors, who just right away was like, this is so cool. What, you have something here. And learning like, hey, well, what do we have? What is this? And so it developed into a lot of songs that I recorded on an album, and then a theatrical show. So storytelling interwoven with songs. And my partner's in the show and co-wrote some songs and performs in the show. And it is basically our love story, and we're still together. And yay. And although for the purposes of the show, maybe that's giving away the
giving away the end. Yeah.
Giving away the end. Okay, delete that part. No. Yeah.
Yeah. But, here's what I find really interesting. A lot of people have heard stories of people like me who are transgender and our process of finding our authenticity, right? But they haven't heard a lot of stories from our partners of what you all go through as we go through this journey, right? Which is a whole nother side of it. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of support places for partners. There should be more because there are unique challenges to your side of going through this journey. And your friends, your family. I mean, you're going to get questions and, bombarded from those people in your life, right? As you're going through this too, trying to figure out how you fit into this and what that means for your relationship and your family. It's complicated.
Yeah, it is complicated. Yeah. And it was complicated with love.
Yes.
And care for one another too. And it's really pretty incredible that Graham was also so supportive of allowing me the space to learn and grow and figure stuff out. And early on, we decided as a couple that we would support each other through that process. And that's just our story, right? That's our story. But yeah, it is a love story though. And it's and an exploration of identity and family and change and these universal themes that you can relate to, whether you're in this you don't have to be in this particular situation to relate.
That's right. Yeah. One of the things that I tell people all the time when I teach about gender to folks who haven't had much experience with anything other than the standard binary gender, is that, it's not so hard to understand, because as you age, all of our bodies are changing. All of us are going through lots of changes in our lives, lots of actual transitions at different phases in our lives, right? From one phase to the next.
That's right.
So I try to get people to relate to understanding, and that is just with a trans person, it's more visible on the outside sometimes, the changes, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. But it's the same kind of thing. And if you want to be in a long-term partnership, there's a lot of renegotiating at many different stages and acceptance of changes and new ways of looking at things or doing things and that's not an easy path, but if you choose it, there's a lot of really awesome blessings.
Yeah.
In that partnership. But
that's so true. So true. Yeah. So, you've also had the wonderful experience of getting to play with some people like Dave Matthews and Hart and REM, and tell us about what those experiences were like.
Yeah, recently playing with Dave Matthews was very fun. I used to listen to him on cassette tapes, like bootleg cassette tapes. When I went to school in Missouri, and he was definitely more popular in the eastern part, southern states, eastern part of the United States. So, and he lives
now.
Here.
You just let people know you're older than 29.
I know. That's what they already did when I told them how long I've been teaching for. And he's a great guy, and it was really fun. And what was so great about that gig, we were in rehearsals, and I was pretty much just vamping, like soul singer vamping over the ending of the song. And he looked over at me and he was like, do it, just go for it, and so that generosity, from rock stars is really, really cool.
Yes, for sure.
And to just be confident and comfortable and sweet enough in their own skin to be like, yeah, sister, sing it, go for it. So it's really cool. And we have a really cool little community here in Seattle, in the music community.
We have a great music scene here in Seattle. We do. Yes. And I also love that you're the lead singer in Wild Rumors, which is a Fleetwood Mac experience that is absolutely amazing. Yay. I have seen Stevie Nicks live, and you channel her very well.
Oh,
yes. Yeah. So if you all get a chance to hear Wild Rumors, definitely do that. Let's play a little clip. Let's play a little of Whistleblower now.
Awesome.
So I find myself walking down the street. I never know who I'm gonna meet. Looking up at the people staring loud, wishing they'd keep the whistle blowing down, 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 down. Who am I to you? What makes you think you can talk the way you do? And who are you anyway? I wanna hide my face. can shield my eyes from this disguise and blow away.
All right. That's so much fun. So tell us a little bit about that song.
So that's one of my favorites from She Said. And it really is. I mean, it speaks a lot to identity and what face do we show to the world?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that face is different depending on the day. And in the context of She Said, you know, so a lot of the beginning parts of writing the song were about what's it like to move through the world as a woman? What's it like to move through the world as a trans woman?
Yeah.
What's it like moving through the world as a transitioning trans woman?
Yeah.
And just all of the, you know, those questions.
Yeah, there's a lot in there. I love that song. It's great.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Do you have any events coming up that people should know about?
Well, I do actually. Wild Rumors is going to be the house band for Smash,
Nice.
which is at the Crocodile at the end of April, which and with lots of special rock star guests, with the music of Fleetwood Mac for the evening, and that's a benefit for Smash for healthcare for musicians, which is a great organization. Awesome. And I've got some solo things coming up, and then we'll be doing another, you know, more goodness with She Said in the coming year. So that is very exciting, and you know, I'll have more to announce about that soon. But
awesome. Well, thanks for all that you do. Thanks for making a difference in our world. And folks, go to JenAyersMusic.com. All right. Thank you, Jen.
Thanks,
keep
Mac.
That music. Yes. All right. All right, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Tried to make us wrong. You tried